I have fallen, my friends. I have indulged in the idea that something so simple as a light-emitting diode could change the way I perceive computer builds. You see, it swept me like a hurricane of red, green, and blue. But to that, I say huzzah, because today we're reviewing the Azza fans. Hey, what's up guys, Snows here, and this was actually supposed to be a case review for the Azza Inferno 310, which is basically where these fans come from. But it seems like somebody at Purelator wanted to, box my case. I don't know, maybe my case provoked him in some way, and kind of punched his baby fist, because the hole was about this big, into the box, down through the front panel of the case. So now it's sent out for an RMA. So let's talk price. These fans come in a pack of 3 for $39 US. That's actually not bad for 3 fans that are RGB capable. The interesting thing about the Azza fans is the fact that the lighting is actually on the outside of the frame of the fan, as compared to, let's say, the Corsair SP, which is hub centric, and the Light Loops, which is hub and frame centric. So let me be the Morgan Freeman to your Brad Pitt and let you know what's in the box. In the box, you're gonna find 3 Azza Hurricane RGB fans, 1 Molex to RGB connector, which actually contains the controller for the fans, and 1 remote to change up the colors. If we take a look at one fan only, you'll find the connectors quite interesting. First of all, it's a 3-pin, so it's DC controlled in terms of the speed, no PWM, and you get some human centipede type stuff here. You get the RGB connection for the LEDs as a separate wire, and they basically daisy chain one to the other, from a fan to another fan to another fan, and possibly to an RGB strip if that tickles your fancy. If you already have an Azza case or a case that supports 4-pin RGB, you'll be able to just hook right up into the system and use the buttons or remote or whatever your case uses to control the colors. Speaking of colors, this baby can display up to 16 million, I'm sorry Jim, what's that? Oh, 7 colors, I'm sorry. It can display up to 7 colors, but it does have cool effects like smooth color cycles and breathing effects. Oh, wait, Jim, oh, well, Jim now tells me that if you hook it up to something like Aura Sync or Mystic Light from MSI, you'll be able to control it and have up to 16 point something million colors. Thank you very much, Jim, for making me look bad. Alright, so let's get into some sexy B-roll shots, and then I'll try to test them to the best of my ability. Go ahead, B-roll Snows. Before we light them up, let's take a look at the blade design. It has this snowflake pattern on the blades, which according to their website is supposed to reduce noise levels up to 10%. It also has what they call the shark teeth design on the rear frame, which is supposed to focus air for a more powerful airflow. I mean, if it made a real difference, we would have seen this in any other designs, I guess, but kudos for trying new things. Unfortunately, the wiring for the power and the LEDs adds some width to the spokes, bring the shark teeth into the mix, and I think the frame might be impeding the airflow rather than helping it. Alright, let's light them up. Oh yeah, they do look good. Honestly, the fact that they're lit on the edges make it look almost like EL tape. They're bright, beautiful, and would shine in most cases with tempered glass. They also have great vibration dampening on all 4 corners, and the only thing I'd say that takes away from the look is the fact that the 4 LEDs are a hot spot when you're looking at them perpendicularly like this. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the B-roll. Let's get back to my face. Alright, so now that the sweet shots are done, it's time to test the fans. Now I'll probably come up with a better apparatus someday in the future, but for now, I'm gonna have to do the paper test. So I make sure that the paper is dead straight, then I tape it right above the fan, giving it a little bit of an overlap. There you go. And then I'm gonna place it on top of the block right here. And the reason why I put it on top of the block is so that the air doesn't bounce here and then pushes the paper back up. So let's go ahead and turn on the power supply. Alright, so honestly it doesn't seem like it's doing too bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a right angle, put it right against the wood. Take a look at how high the paper goes. And it seems like it's averaging around 6.5 inches from the floor. Now what I'm gonna do is pit this against a Corsair and a Phanteks case fan. So here's the Phanteks, and honestly I wasn't expecting this. I've never really tested fans or anything, but just by doing that you can see the drastic difference. I know they were both running at 12 volts, but it just shows the difference in RPM. Now I'm not sure what the difference in RPM is, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them right up here so that you can see that. So that was interesting. Let's try the Corsair case fan now. Alright, so now with the Corsair, I have to hold it on or it's gonna fall over because of the wire, but it doesn't seem like the performance is as good. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the Azza again just to see if I see at least redundancy in the results. Yep, it does seem redundant, so I would say this wouldn't be a bad fan to put in front of a radiator. In fact, that's what I was planning on doing. But now what I want to do is test a bigger, better fan compared to this one, the Corsair AF140 that comes with every 280mm AIO that I've seen so far coming out of Corsair. Okay, it's a little bit out of control. Clearly the AF series and all of the Corsair Performance Series fans are definitely better than everything. Let me unplug this without hurting myself. Oh, a power supply. So there you have it. On the test, we can see that the Azza is sort of a middle of the road fan. It's not as powerful as the fans that can go all the way up to 2800 RPM, but it's fairly good at its range. In terms of noise levels, the Azza Hurricanes is actually just as loud as the Phanteks and Corsair. That's to say that they're actually very quiet. I unfortunately don't have an audio tester, so you'll have to trust me on that for the moment. So now it's time to pit the pros against the cons, the fire against the ice, the ones to my zeros. Let's start with the pros. The fans are actually powerful and super colorful, as you saw. They're very quiet and they're super compatible with other systems that use the RGB 4-pin connector and also the RF remote, which is pretty cool because you don't have to point at it for it to change the colors. And better yet, it does all of that for $39 for 3 fans. So what about the cons, you might ask? Well, the RGB is a little inconsistent. By that, I mean that the diffusing material could have been a little more softer, a little frostier to allow for better diffusion of the colors. I really hate looking at hotspots on a fan or on the mouse. As you can see here on my Master Keys versus Master Pro combo video, you'll see that the mouses have diffusing materials that are very different and causes the quality of that strip of light to be different. The RF remote is also a little unreliable. While you can press a button and not have to point it at the fans, it sometimes doesn't register the input, which kind of sucks. And lastly, the RGB daisy chaining is a little bit of a hassle in terms of cable management. Imagine having 2 fans at the front, 1 at the back. That's not gonna work. The cables aren't long enough. You'll have to purchase extensions. So here are my final thoughts. I am a fan. Thank you. Thank you, I know it took that long, but we made it. We finally got one fan pun in. Honestly, this is a great fan and I'd love to see a 140mm version of this so I can put it on my Corsair H115i. Here you have it, my first fan review. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Have yourselves a great day. Leave a like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. If you'd like to know how I made this sign in the back that I forgot to turn on until the last second, leave a comment in the section below, that way I'll know. And I'll see you on the next video. Yeah, now I'm just waiting because the end card are gonna pop up. I might be making a different sign pretty soon, so let me know if you're interested. It's gonna be bigger and brighter, which is gonna be nice. I wanna thank Lucas for being my main in Smash Bros. Brawl. Oh, my back hurts. I gotta go lay down.